Hello and welcome to Will Do Words. We're your hosts, Carly
and Zoe. So to start us off today, what book are you reading at the moment, Carly?
I am currently reading and have been trying to read for the past several months, The Gentleman in Moscow.
Sorry, I should not laugh.
It's a very good story, and when I sit down and read it, I enjoy it. But I have had trouble sitting down, finding a moment where I can read it. But
I trouble sitting down and staying in one place?
Yes, exactly.
Who wants that? Like you.
So yeah, what are you reading?
I'm very late to the party, like I think at least 10 years late, but I'm finally reading the After series.
Oh, nice.
And I'm in I think this is the third book.
Cool.
It's nice, it's just like nice just to have, you know, those familiar characters that you just, it's like, oh, I'm with my friends again.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And I'm finally clicking how it's a Harry Styles thing, because like, the tattoos and the hair and everything.
Yeah.
Hadn't clocked that before now. Anyways,
very nice.
So, on the topic of today, we're jumping on another moving item. This time we're moving on a roller coaster.
Yes, and this topic is certainly a roller coaster.
Yeah, so in case you haven't read the description, we are talking about moving abroad, specifically the definition of home.
Yes.
So,
the nerves, the excitement, the confusion, the fear, and the elation.
And that's only 4 of the emotions that I could think of off the top of my head. I mean, I guarantee you there was a whole lot more, and there still is a whole lot more floating around within me.
Like we said, just kind of a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, the ups and the downs and the spins and the side, all of it. But anyways, today we're going to talk about the change that happens somewhere along the way when experiences are no longer new, and this becomes your new normal.
Yeah. And just kind of settling into the, I'm on vacation, everything is a happy fantasy land versus, okay, now I have my routine. And this may be starting to kind of feel like home, right?
Yeah. So whilst we talk you through settling into our new country, you just settle into a comfy spot, get yourself a nice cup of tea or a cup.
or a cup of coffee, right?
And cool, let's jump in.
Yeah.
So you kind of started us off on a really good spot there, thanks, Carly.
Yeah.
Because when you do move overseas to, anywhere, I guess, I think back to moving for uni and whatnot, it is like, this is new and exciting. And I vividly remember at uni, for me, it was like, I'm on school camp.
Yeah.
This is all new, this is all exciting, and all feels very temporary. And when you're going to a new place, whether that be a new town, a new city, a new country, it just feels like a trip, right? You just, this is fun, and you it's kind of like you're a bit carefree.
Yeah, everything's kind of mystical, like we talked about in several episodes ago, I believe, when we first got to our town here, you see the mountain in the backdrop, and you're like, wow, I am in a fairy tale land, right? So being so aware of your surroundings when everything is so new, and then all of a sudden there's somewhere along the line, after doing all the paperwork and trying all the new restaurants, meeting new teachers or new friends or whatnot, the new person at the cafe, that you're like, okay, well, it's Monday. On Mondays I am gonna go take a walk around the river, or go to this specific store because they open on Mondays, right?
And I think for us, there was a bit of that. Well, you came a bit later, but for me, I wasn't working when I first got here. So my days were full of wonder and awe and pinch me moments. It was like, and I remember walking and like, I'm in Spain. Yeah, I'm in Spain. And then I'd be like, go into a shop and it's like, I just spoke Spanish because I'm in Spain.
Yeah.
And I remember my first day, and it was just walking around like, wow, I'm in Spain. This isn't home. It was like, you're not in Kansas anymore.
Exactly.
It was definitely that feeling.
For sure. And then within those first couple of weeks or month, depending on how long it takes you try to find a new route to get to school the fastest, or to get to the bus stop right on time to make sure you have plenty of time, or taking a street that you thought was the street, but then it was
not the street.
Right. So then you're like learning all these streets and all these new places. So every day, constantly, you feel like you're having a new experience. So with those new experiences, it's kind of like this euphoria of traveling. I'm on vacation. It's, wow, everything's so new.
Yeah, and you don't, like, everything, looking out the window when I was driving, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what's this?
Look at those mountains.
Yeah. Look at that weird, like, tree thing. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
It was a terrible example. Come on, think of something better. But the amounts of times, so I don't know about you, but for me, it was like, when you're traveling, it's like, you start to be like, okay, I've been here a little bit, and your confidence builds. When you don't have to go on Google Maps to get anywhere.
Yes.
And so for me it was, okay, I can get to the supermarket without Google Maps now.
Yes.
Woohoo! And I guess that's kind of like, that's, well, for me, that's one of the first, like, settling things. Is like, okay, I actually know where I am. I don't walk out the door and, like, the world's spinning. I have no idea what planet.
Do I go left? Do I go right? Straight?
Oh, so many options.
Or do I go right back up the stairs and stay where I am?
Because that's such a thing, right? I remember, because I arrived here at about 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
After 20-something hours of flying. And so I was exhausted. Got here, slept. And I remember waking up the next morning and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
What now? What do I do? And so one of the first things, and I was very fortunate, is one of the ladies that I work with had said, I'm meeting you at this time for breakfast.
Oh, that's nice.
And so we met her for breakfast, and we were fish out of water, right?
Yeah.
She was like, what do you want? And we're like, I don't know, what is there? And I was like, can I have a glass of water? And they just kind of went, okay. And then she's like, do you want tomato on toast or something? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, tomatoes on toast would be really good. Tomatoes on toast is not the same thing.
Oh, it's fine. Do you have the whole tomato on toast at home?
Mm-hmm. Okay. The one where you have to, like, have a little fight with the tomato. Who's gonna win? Is it your mouth or the tomato on the toast?
Correct. Well, here you do not have to fight. You always win with every delicious bite.
Yes. So, like, I guess it's that first hurdle of, okay, we actually have to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And then, fortunately, you know, she walked us around. She showed us the area, and we've talked about this before. My favourite thing, your favourite thing to do when we get out in a new town is go and look and walk around.
Yeah.
And that day sort of set, we didn't realise it at the time, but that set a routine.
Yeah.
For our listeners, that churros shop that we went to on the very first morning, every single Friday, I'm back there with whoever decides to come along.
Yes.
If you're looking for me between the hours of 10:30 and 12, that is where I will be, every Friday. But I think we're skipping ahead there. Yeah, so when we get routines. So I'll just start back a bit. Feel free to jump in here.
Yeah, but I think that leads to a really big point, is that when you have this place that you know that you're staying for not necessarily a week or a month, but you're going to be here for some time. In our case, we have a set contract, right? A set schedule. So we know that we're here for 8 months.
Yeah.
But that 8 months, you have to take advantage of living in your community. It's not like 1 week and then you move on, you're exploring, right? You settle into your routine. So
and
for
that's
you,
a mind shift.
Yeah, exactly. And for you, that's going to your churro shop, right? And
every Friday.
Exactly. So it's finding your favorite cafes or your restaurants where now you're becoming the locals. So like week after week, you go there and you learn the name of the waitresses and waiters, and then eventually they become friends, and you have chats with them, and you learn who they are and see them around in different spots in the town. I think I remember something that was really cool is like walking around and recognizing faces. Even still, I walk around, I'm like, I know that person? Where do I know them from? And then I'll go back to either the restaurant or the coffee shop and be like, oh, okay, yes, that's where I know them from more.
And even just people like random in the street.
Yeah.
We, like, one of the first things, because I came from the middle of the country, so seeing people was not something that happened on a daily basis for me. And here I would sit and I would look out the window when I was eating my meals and just watch all the people.
Yeah.
I was fascinated.
Yeah.
And very quickly, old Navy man comes out on a Sunday dressed in his Navy vest. And there's the little old guy who is every day in a suit.
Yes.
Suit jacket, shirt, tie, pants, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And you start spotting these people around, and it's like,
And they're kind of like the people that you might not ever have a conversation with, but they're kind of like those background characters that are a part of this community that you kind of start to create and recognize and realize you're like, oh, okay, like I know that person, or I have invented a story about them, and they kind of are your backdrop, right? It builds your community around you.
And it's so comforting when it's like, I have, like for me, if I've been traveling and then I come back here and it's old Navy man's still here, guy in the suit's still here, like everything's still good.
Yeah, I think that actually is a really good point of what you just said. Is so now with being in a place for long term, you're taking weekend trips, or if you have a break from school, you're going to do trips. And it's all of a sudden this click in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm not going back to the place where I'm originally from, which is my quote-unquote home. I'm going back to my new quote-unquote home, right? So this new town has become, this new apartment has become your home. So it's like an interesting feeling when you are on vacation or doing a trip within Spain or in other countries in Europe, and then you're getting on the airplane and you're like, oh wow, okay, I'm going home. But you're like, oh, wait, that home that you kind of unconsciously name is now this new place where you are.
And I remember having that feeling very early on, after like, I think we'd had a really long day traveling. We went to the beach and came back here. And it was like, it's almost like your body knows it's home before your mind knows it's home. Like my body was like, like kind of like tense after a day of traveling, and as the bus sort of drove down the road to get here, I sort of relaxed a bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't home by that point. Like I still had uncomfortable pillows on the bed. I still hadn't put anything up on the walls.
Right.
It wasn't creature comfort home, but it was home enough that my body was like, okay, this is my safe place.
Yeah. So do you remember when that was? Do you remember what trip that was, or after how long of time?
That the change happened?
Yeah.
We went traveling over Christmas.
Okay.
2 weeks, and I think that was like the really big, because it was like, okay, we're here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Pack up our stuff, go to the next hotel, jump on a train, ride. And so when we got home, it was like, well, even as we were traveling, it's kind of like, oh, this is amazing, but I just want my own bed. I want this. Oh no, it was before that, because we went away somewhere and we weren't sleeping in our own beds, and it was like, okay, I want my own bed.
Yeah.
I want to wake up in the morning and know where. I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea, but hypothetically where the coffee is. I want to know
where the light switches are. That's kind of like a big one for some people traveling. It's like, I want to know where the light switch is.
I don't even know where the light switches are in my house. If you know that, give me a map, please. But yeah, I think that would have been it for me, sleeping away.
Yeah.
Because I'm a homebody. What about you? When was the switch?
I think at least my first year, I lived in an Airbnb for a good month before moving over into an apartment in the small town that we're in. So it took me a little bit longer because I was still kind of in transition mode. Probably in November, so probably about a month or a month and a half, 2 months into that first year. And then within the next couple of years, it was kind of immediate when I got back here after the summer, because for all the years that I've been here, I've come, done the program, and then returned home, quote unquote, to my hometown for the summer, and then come back. So I've done that now 2 times, and each time coming back, it's like immediately, like you see the mountain outline in the distance, you're like okay, breath of fresh air. I've done it. I've come back. So
I can imagine because you everything's there, everything's predictable.
Exactly.
So you're not on guard looking for anything different.
Yes.
That's all there.
Yes. So another really interesting thing that I actually was talking to a friend about last night is recipes. We were chit-chatting. We were chit-chatting about typical Spanish cuisine in this area, and they asked me, they're like, oh, well, do you know how to make lentejas? So like the lentils that are very typical in our region. And I was like, I do not. I like eating them, but I do not know how to cook them. So for me, when I go out in town, I love to try new Spanish foods, and there's so many Spanish foods now that I really enjoy and look forward to eating and sometimes even crave. But when I'm in my own house, for me, that like touch point of home, quote unquote, from my hometown, my family, is preparing meals from my grandmother, my mother, my cousins, my entire extended family, right? So bringing those things that are familiar and comforting and like a big hug into my own kitchen, right? So for me, I've tried a few different Spanish things cooking, but for me to come back into my kitchen, what's safe and what I know, definitely love to experiment with different flavors and stuff, but those staple meals like my grandmother's pasta and meatballs, or when you're feeling a little sick, a little stuffy, as you can probably tell, that I am currently, it is a nice big pot of homemade chicken noodle soup, right? So, but it's going into the grocery store here in Spain and finding Spanish ingredients, or just ingredients here necessarily, and then translating and converting and using those into meals and recipes that are near and dear to my heart, right?
I'm such a food person that as long as it's yummy, don't care. And I have been known to say, but are you hungry? Well, yeah, because it's yummy.
Yes.
Hunger isn't really a factor here. And I haven't cooked meals from home because the groceries here are so vastly different to what you can get at home for me. So I really had to flip how I cook and what I eat. So that hasn't been a huge thing, although my mum makes risotto. And I do remember sending her a message one day saying, can you send me your risotto recipe, please? I hated risotto at home, but here,
yes,
it is like a nice little thing. But the biggest thing was I had my parents come and stay. And they were cooking dinner one night, and I was like, just whatever, you have a look, this is the ingredients we have. And they came home and they made baked sausage hash. And baked sausage hash is my all-time favorite. I hadn't even considered making it because in my head I'm like, Spanish food, try new things. But that was a really nice touch. But the grocery shopping thing. That I do not feel at home in the grocery stores here. I flat out avoided going to the grocery store for a very long time, which I think I talked about last time. Because it's just too hard. But I have noticed that instead of going to the grocery store, I have a carniceria that I go to, so a butchery, and I have a fruit and veg shop that I go to. And so that sort of helped me because we connected with people. I mean, obviously, I live very different. So I got chatting with the people there. Oh, where are you from? The lovely lady in the butchery, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine that my daughter went to Ireland for 3 months. I can't imagine you being so far away from your family. So here's my daughter's number, or I think her daughter was there. And so, I mean, I connected with her, and we spent time having coffee. And so every week we go back there because it's a homely thing. They're not friends. They're not. They're just people that we get along with, and we know. So I like going there. I like going to the fruit and veg shop because the fruit and veg people are always really lovely. And I said, oh, my parents are coming, and so you have those little interactions which aren't like it's not a friendship, but they're just more than just transactional. So and that sort of started to fill me with a sense of homeness, because this would become my routine, right? If I was going to go grocery shopping, I'd go to that carniceria, I'd go to that fruit and veg shop, and it became this whole thing.
And especially too, being so far from those ingredients that you find dear to your heart from home, then it almost translates right into food and culture and now community, right? So you're kind of getting all of that in and like creating this part of home that is in a new community but is familiar and kind and like
heartwarming.
Yeah.
And I think heartwarming is the word for me. Is I remember I was having a day where I haven't missed time in the time that I've been here, but I've had days where it's like I want to go home because this is too hard. And I was having a this is too hard day. If I was still in New Zealand, life would be 10 times easier because they at least speak English. And I had to go grocery shopping. There was no food in the house and I didn't want to go grocery shopping. Went grocery shopping, got chatting to the people, and I think I came home, try some of this. Yeah. And it was just this warm, fuzzy feeling, and it's home but not home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a routine person. Yeah. So I think that was another big like, okay, I need to actually settle in and make this my home by setting my routines up.
Yeah.
And we found a really cool gym. Yes. Does really cool stuff. So that became a really big routine for us for a while. Yeah.
I think it's cool to see now because coming back year after year, I've created these routines. But now each year or even throughout each season, like summer and winter or fall, what have it, some of the routines have still changed. I love a routine, but I've also been able to see the ebbs and flows of changing that routine. So like you just said,
you have to be able to, right?
Yes, exactly. Like you just said, we joined a new gym,
right?
And
my gosh.
Yes.
So good.
So many fun classes and they had a swimming pool. They have a swimming pool and getting to do that with you too, I think grow our friendship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. But I've also tried other dance classes and other yoga classes within town. So I think creating that routine that you need in the moment, which was a little bit of exercise for me and also building friendship for you in this season. But then also having those routines and that sort of balance and centering within your new space.
Yeah, and because the routines kind of like, they provide you with this connection to what's going on outside of your four walls.
Right.
Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I do get in a mood sometimes where I'm like, I'm just going to stay inside my house because my house is safe, my house is home. But as soon as I go out and I continue with my routines, it's like, okay, well, here's home too.
Yeah.
This gives me a sense of home.
Yeah.
And going to the gym and like checking in with people as well. I think building those routines is really important because you meet people.
Exactly.
And when you meet people, you build that connection and you have...
And then you're slowly but surely building your community, right? One conversation might lead you to a whole other different group or people that you're supposed to meet and a new community. For me, it was a friend invited me to a countryside house for a party to have some dinner and with a bunch of new people that I had never met, and that led to a conversation about dancing that I loved, that led to the dance group that I'm in now. That then I brought you into.
Yeah, I met this girl.
So
I barely knew her. She said she does belly dance, and I went, that sounds pretty cool. I think it was maybe like a month later that I messaged you. Or
I was like,
hey, that belly dancing.
Yeah, right? So like building your community and these people that now this group of friends I have is like a huge support, like the backbone of at least my community that I've built, and I know whatever questions I have, I can go to them. And I don't know if you've noticed this, I imagine you have, but the people, whether they be closer friends or people that are just kind of on the outskirts that you recognize or you see are so willing to help.
Oh my gosh, yes. I got told off because I hadn't called someone.
Yeah.
One of my teachers said, she was saying, how are you or something.
Yeah.
I said, oh yeah, all good. We've had a bit of trouble with, I think, when we first got here, we couldn't cook the microwave, the oven, stove, none of them worked. And she's, Zoe, why haven't you called me? Because we're just making do. She said, no, you call me next time there's an issue. And so I did.
Yeah.
And she's, you called me. Well, yeah, because I'm terrified not to.
Yeah. So it's like bringing your community kind of in and learning how to use them and to appreciate their help and hope that you can also help them as well.
Because people want to help, right?
Yeah.
Especially, when people see that you're so far out of your norm.
Yeah.
I've found that everyone just wants to help. I mean, I think I've said it on here before, but standing in a bank, speaking English, someone wants to help.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not from here. Yeah. So get you 2 minutes later. Here's my business card. If anything ever happens, please give us a call.
Yeah.
They haven't called them, but it's just nice knowing. It's that sad that, as you said before, those connections that form your backbone and your safety net. If anything goes wrong, you know that you have people that you can call and you can talk to if needs be.
Especially being so far away from hometowns, then part of that safety security is building your home here.
Yeah, and I mean, just to flip it, so we're not talking in international lens, because I know not everyone is going to do this, but I remember at uni, I was at uni out of my hometown, and it was all new. I think I'm pretty sure I cried when my parents left because I'm a very family-oriented person.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Alligator tears.
Yeah. And they're like, Zoe, come out. No, but it was starting to, okay, if I'm feeling down, I can go to the gym, and there's always this friendly person there who smiles at me, and I don't even have to say anything, but sometimes just a smile from a stranger is enough. And you start building these communities and you start meeting these people, and then I was very lucky that through those people that I met who were also students and who were also studying, they introduced me to their families and their parents, and so I adopted these other parents in case anything did go wrong. And just simple stuff like being invited into a home. Because as we've touched on, we're here temporarily. We're here for 8 months. So it's not a home. It's a house, and I love my flat, but going into a home where a family lives and having a meal with other people is always a really nice feeling.
I remember my first time studying abroad, so when I was in Barcelona for those 5 months, I went to England to visit a couple who I had met on vacation several years before, to visit them, and we had connected on Facebook and stayed in touch. So I went to their home, and I needed that more than I ever thought I needed. Being away from home for this long for the first time, getting invited into their home, sleeping in their guest room, having some home-cooked meals, and being around their family, and actually doing a birthday celebration was just so, the hug, it was so normal, and the hug to my soul that I needed, being so far away. And I remember talking to my mom, and she was like, I mean,
of course.
It's only normal when you're that far from your family that you're so close with that this is going to be exactly what you need. And it really was. And I'm so grateful for those friends that I had made, and right in that moment I needed it the most. So.
And I think pets is a big thing for me.
Because
I've always had an animal in the house, so going to a place where there's a pet. Just a little bit of normalcy, petting the dog, petting the cat. I wouldn't pet a fish or anything else.
No, just look longingly into the tank.
And then I had a very, very humbling discussion with a friend who wasn't the first person to point this out to me, but the first person to point it out to me in this period, I think Mum had pointed it out a long time before that, is if it's going to make you comfortable, if it's going to make you feel more at home, buy the pillow.
Yes.
Buy the blankets so you're not freezing in the middle of the night.
Yes.
And fortunately now there's a friend sitting right beside me, and she's still very wise and teaches me things every day.
Well.
Sometimes I learn from her mistakes rather than what she tells me. But you know, that's such a valid point, because when you're here temporarily and it is sort of like a transitional period, you can't skimp out on what makes you feel at home and what makes you feel comfortable in your own home. So like that would be one of my many pieces of advice, but one that's got like a couple stars and some asterisks and some exclamation marks beside it. It's probably written in caps because it is so important. I mean, houses over here are built differently. Insulation doesn't really seem to exist. So I spent a long time in winter freezing with multiple layers because I was too cheap to buy a blanket.
Yes.
And how dumb is that? I mean, just buy the blanket, get a cheap mask, and go to the op shop, but just make yourself comfortable.
Yes. So I deeply remember sitting home because I told you this out of experience, right? Like me, the first year, it's like, oh, I'm only here for like 8 months. I'm not gonna be buying all these things if I need to just get rid of them or find a new home for them. I am also known in my family as being a little bit cheap and not wanting to buy the things for myself because I'm like, I don't really need that, but like I do need it.
It's not a necessity.
Right, but it is a little bit. For me, I don't really need too much, but the two things that I'm huge on for creature comforts, like you said, I need a good pillow. If I don't have a good pillow and not a good night's sleep, then I'm a cranky something or other.
Yeah.
And I also,
insert your own word.
Yes. I also really love good shower pressure.
That's a very valid.
Yes, which also is not necessarily in my control in this situation. But buy the pillow. A good pillow, because you are going to use it for quite some time. Buy the good blanket, because it took me a while to kind of like, oh, I don't really need a new blanket. And then now, even still, after being here 3 years, at the end, I kick myself. I'm like, well, I should have just bought that the first year, because then I ended up being here for so long, right? So it took me 3 years to buy a vacuum cleaner, which my favorite house chore is to vacuum. So I'm like, why didn't I just buy this?
I'm depriving myself.
Yes. And when I got in the second year, so my third year, I treated myself to a vacuum. The second year, I bought the Swiffer, which I don't know if you know what this is. So it's the brand name, but it's...
Is it the flat thing that you drive around the floor?
Yes, the flat thing that you push around the floor with the pads that you put underneath to pick up all the dust.
I'm not convinced that does anything.
I am severely. I love the Swiffer picker-upper.
Oh, I don't.
But that was my second year, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, I should have just bought this the first year. Same thing for the hand blender. I bought my second year and I've used for now 2 years.
Gosh. I've got like a pull jobby.
Yes.
Such a joke. I should have just bought a proper blender.
Yes.
We bought holes in the plastic.
Yeah. For the things that you know you're going to use in the kitchen specifically to, again, right, make these recipes and comfort foods. At least for me, that was really important in combating some of this homesickness that I had at the beginning. Or even just a random day that I feel like, oh man, I really want Grandma's shepherd's pie right now. Like, I have that craving.
I've never once had that.
Oh.
Never once.
Yeah.
I'm very shepherd's pie.
Yes. Well, anyway.
Each to their own.
Yeah. But like having those things that you know you're going to use to then make you feel at home.
Yeah, for me it was a kitchen mixer.
Yeah.
I'm a baker. Love baking. Have I used it as much as intended? Maybe not. Did it bring me happiness and joy whilst I was using it? Yes.
Yes.
Is it something that I can resell? Fortunately, yes, but there was a big dice roll of will I, won't I? The other thing was an electric blanket, because I love my Sparky blanket at night time, just getting into a nice warm bed. Yeah. It was a little bit nice.
Especially the cold nights in the winters here.
And someone said to me the other day, you're trying to sell an electric blanket in Murcia.
When it's
and we're coming into summer.
Yes, it's almost...
And they said, even if we're coming into summer, you're trying to sell an electric blanket in Murcia.
Yes.
that just doesn't work. And I went, well, yeah, okay, I'll take the loss, because I couldn't tell you how many nights I used it for, but every single night jumping into bed was a treat.
Yeah.
Because it was warm, it was cozy, my feet were warm. So it is a bit of a mind shift. Of, yes, I'm here temporarily, yes, this might just be a donation to my landlord at the end of the year. But if you have the means to it, and if it's going to make you happy, you do it.
Definitely.
Because it helps that whole temporary
feeling.
Is temporariness a word?
Temporarily?
No. Temporariness.
Sure.
If it's not, we're going to try.
We're going to go for it. Temporariness.
Yeah. So I guess, like, for me, I feel very lucky in the fact that I consider myself to have a lot of different homes.
Yeah.
The university town that I studied in, friends' homes that are now mine, the Siesta is another one, and home is not so much about, for me, it's not so much about the situation. It's more about who is in it, where it is, and the memories that who's in it, and the memories that are associated with it, and the feeling that you get when you think of home.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe I'm coming from a really out there perspective, but that's my thoughts. So what about you?
Yeah.
What's home for you?
I think my definition of home has become broadened. After moving away to university and traveling for so long, that it really is the people who you fill your life with and about who you feel you are. If you are happy with you and the people you surround yourself with, then home can be wherever you are, right? It can be in the middle of the desert, or it can be in the town that you grew up in, or it can be at the beach, right? Whatever place makes you feel happy and safe, and the people that make you feel happy and safe, it doesn't matter the building, as long as you have those other people, right? And it's about the community that you form and the friends and the family that you have.
In New Zealand, we have a saying, it's he tangata, he tangata, he tangata, the people, the people, the people.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing in the world? The people.
Yeah.
And for me, that home for me is who. It's not a what. I know we've talked for the last 10 minutes about different items that we have that make us feel at home. But for me, the items are only a welcome addition.
Right. They're a supplement to maybe some homesickness and some creature comforts.
Yeah.
For that, if you are alone, or for your example, right, with your partner, you are able to build the space around you that you are living in, make it feel home, put those pictures on the walls, decorate with some cute little things to make it feel like your space. But it's who you're with.
Exactly. And so that's your challenge for this week, who is listening. What's home for you? Or rather, who is home for you? I think that kind of sums us up today, right?
It does,
I mean, I have definitely not hit my word count of the day, but we won't bore these guys with any more of my drivel.
Yeah. So if you think it, you can do it. So what will you do?
Yeah. These are our will do it's today. As always, if something we said has piqued your interest, or tickled your fancy, please get in touch with us via Instagram. Any form of communication is always well received.
Absolutely.
Constructive criticism we would love best to not cry over.
Yes.
We're also on YouTube. You can see our lovely faces and our map that's decided to jump off the wall.
Yes, we didn't acknowledge it in the recording aspect of it, but definitely for our viewers on YouTube, you have seen the slow progression of our map behind us slowly fading away.
That's the state of the world, guys.
Yes. But we're still here.
We will still be here regardless.
Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe, listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, go follow our Instagram, and so you don't miss any of the fun chaos that we're causing.
Until next time.
See ya.
Oh, this is called The Words. I'm Zoe.
Oh, and I'm Carly. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
See ya.